Hi, I'm Dr. Chris Samuels, and this is part 3 of He's Not Going to Be Perfect, my series where I describe sexual addiction recovery. In parts 1 and 2, we talked about why perfection isn't realistic and what genuine recovery looks like. Now I want to show you the timeline, the 3 major phases of recovery and what to expect during each one. Understanding this roadmap helps you evaluate whether your partner is progressing or is stuck in a phase and not moving forward. We call phase 1 crisis and stabilization, and it covers months 0 through 6. If I could summarize in one word the first 6 months, it would be chaos. What's happening for him? He's experiencing withdrawal. Sexual addiction creates real neurological changes, and when behavior stops abruptly, the brain goes into crisis, intense anxiety, depression, irritability, insomnia, and overwhelming cravings. And he's drowning in shame, not healthy guilt, but toxic shame that says, not that I did something wrong, but I am something wrong. He's also learning the most basic recovery tools: how to attend meetings, talk to a therapist, use blocking software, call his sponsor. But he's operating from fear, not insight. His compliance is driven by terror of losing you, not deep understanding at this point. He has limited empathy capacity. His shame is so overwhelming, he can barely see beyond his own terror. Now, here's what's happening for you. You're experiencing acute betrayal trauma, hypervigilance, intrusive thoughts, emotional flooding, inability to concentrate. You're in detective mode, checking phones, monitoring locations, verifying stories. You're swinging between rage and despair. In the midst of this, what might a healthy phase 1 also look like? Immediate, though imperfect, cessation of behaviors. Slips may occur as he learns new skills. Engagement with basic recovery structures, therapy, meetings, sponsor. Acceptance of accountability measures, blocking software, and transparency. Awareness of the need to be honest. Motivation is primarily because of consequences, and for now, that's okay. And he's following through on basic commitments. What would a concerning phase 1 look like? Minimizing. It wasn't that bad. Blaming. If you'd been more available. Anger about recovery requirements. Inconsistency with basic activities. Lying about small things. So here's a necessary reality check. If basic behavioral compliance isn't established by 6 months, that's a serious concern. Phase 2, months 6 through 24, a time of skills development. Phase 2 is where recovery moves from crisis management to actual skills building and deeper healing. Here's what's happening for him. He's developing self-awareness about triggers. I want to act out when I feel inadequate at work. He's learning emotional regulation, sitting with anxiety instead of medicating it. He's beginning trauma work, processing childhood wounds that created the vulnerability to the development of his sexual addiction. He's starting to understand his addiction patterns. He's developing genuine empathy for your experience. What's happening for you? Acute betrayal trauma symptoms may be decreasing, but trauma recovery continues. You're experiencing triggers that bring back the full intensity of your early pain. You're trying to decide whether to reinvest in the relationship. You're watching to distinguish genuine change from compliance. A healthy phase 2 looks like this. Slips becoming less frequent and are disclosed quickly. He can articulate triggers and has strategies for coping with them. He's doing deeper therapeutic work, not just surface reporting. Genuine curiosity about why the addiction developed. Better distress tolerance. Growing empathy for your experience. Making amends through changed behavior. Forming real recovery relationships. Now, what would a concerning phase 2 look like? He's still operating purely from fear, still lying about small matters, attending program, but not genuinely engaging. He can't articulate triggers or patterns. He's highly defensive about your pain, wants praised for basic recovery activities, pressuring premature trust or intimacy. Slips still happen. They're frequent or hidden. Here's a reality check. Phase 2 is where many couples get stuck and need to address, as this surface recovery without deeper transformation is a sign that the recovery process is stalled. By 12 to 24 months, you should see meaningful internal changes. The third phase, 24 months to 5 years, is a time of integration and mature recovery. Phase 3 is what recovery looks like when it's become a way of life, not crisis management. What's happening for him? Recovery is integrated into his identity, not white-knuckling sobriety, but instead, I'm someone in recovery, learning to live authentically and with integrity. Slips are very rare, maybe once or twice a year, immediately disclosed with true self-awareness. Genuine emotional availability. He's present in all his relationships. He's likely contributing to others' recovery, sponsoring, sharing, finding meaning, and giving back. He's more emotionally healthy overall. His changes extend beyond sexual behavior, and he's consistently honest. What's happening for you? If you've stayed, you're seeing ongoing evidence that he's genuinely different. Trust is rebuilding, though appropriately, never blind trust. Your trauma symptoms have significantly reduced. You have your own support system and healing independent of his recovery. You're making decisions based on current reality. So here's what a healthy phase 3 looks like. He's maintaining recovery commitments even when the crisis has passed. He's handling major stressors without old coping mechanisms. He's genuinely emotionally available. He's taking initiative in your relationship. He's realistic about recovery being lifelong. And he's supporting your healing without centering on his guilt. Here's what a concerning phase 3 might look like. He's thinking he's fixed and recovery isn't necessary. Becoming complacent, dropping meetings, reducing therapy. He still hasn't developed genuine emotional intimacy. He's still reactive or emotionally unavailable. He's expecting you to be over it. Here's the necessary reality check. If phase 3 characteristics aren't emerging by years 2 to 3, you may be dealing with someone managing symptoms, but not fundamentally changing. To understand these timelines, here's what's crucial. These phases are a developmental process. You can't skip them. Each builds the foundation for the next. Now, early phase struggles don't predict long-term outcomes. I've seen couples with multiple relapses in year 1 end up with very strong recoveries by years 3 and 4. But the key is moving forward with sustained effort. To summarize a realistic timeline, months 0 to 6, behavior stabilizes, basic structure of recovery is established. Months 6 through 12, self-awareness is developing, emotional work is beginning. Year 1 to 2, skills building, trauma processing, empathy development. Years 2 to 5, integration, sustained change, mature recovery. Genuine transformation takes years, not months. What's next? In part 4, we'll talk about red flags. How to distinguish between normal recovery struggles and signs that indicate inadequate effort or continued active addiction. This is crucial information that could save you from staying in a situation that's not actually improving. Subscribe for part 4, and remember, your partner's recovery is important, but your own healing matters just as much. I wish you well.